A protest is taking place this Saturday outside the Dogs4Us Leeds store to highlight the use of puppy farming. And I'd like to welcome now on the line Aaron Amathi, who's the chairman and founder of Boycott Dogs4Us, and he's going to tell us about the protest. Hello, Aaron. How are you doing?
Hello.
You all right?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So, tell us a bit about Boycott Dogs4Us and why you've set it up.
Well, Boycott Dogs4Us is a campaigning group that opposes the biggest puppy farm retailer of puppies in the UK, which is Dogs4Us. We formed after seeing the news coverage of where the puppies that Dogs4Us source their puppies from come from, which are windowless sheds without light, heat or human contact, and these puppies are sold on to unsuspecting members of the public and often develop health conditions, often develop illnesses that cost the owners thousands of pounds in vet bills, and also the heartbreak of often losing the puppy because these puppies have been bred. They've been bred in puppy farms, which are intensive breeding facilities, and they've also been overbred so that they have these health conditions. And of course, this is bad for animal welfare, it's bad for the people who purchase them, and it's bad for society in general, because obviously these places are spreading around these puppies that are ill and sick, and often will have to either be put down, have expensive vet bills, or end up in shelters, adding to the problem of the overpopulation of dogs in this country.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the government is going to ban the sale of puppies and kittens, aren't they, in pet shops and from third-party dealers. I mean, do you know what the legislation, where it's up to?
Well, the government has promised to ban the sale of puppies and kittens in pet shops, but they haven't actually announced legislation yet. We're expecting sometime in the new year there will be legislation before Parliament about this, sometime in the new year, because obviously the government have made this commitment after hearing about the campaign Lucy's Law, which is a campaign which was about this one dog which came from a puppy farm, and her plight has been used to highlight the issue of puppy farming, which is the terrible overbreeding and poor welfare standards that go on. And obviously these pet shops act as fronts for these puppy farms, because no one wants to go to a puppy farm and see the terrible conditions. So the only way they can sell these dogs is through these third-party breeders, which means people pretending they've bred at home, or people selling through pet shops.
So have you been in touch with Dogs4Us about the conditions that they have there? They keep their dogs in, and where they come from. I mean, what's their response? What is their response to your protests?
Well, we've been in touch many times with Dogs4Us, but their response is simply that they don't believe what goes on these farms is puppy farming. They put out leaflets saying there's no such thing as puppy farming. They have a blog where they've taken photos of people's homes that campaign against them and put them up on the blog, and they're very aggressive response to our campaign, and they seem to have no care for animal welfare. It seems to be all about profit for them.
I mean, I don't know what your view is about this, but I mean, I think there needs to be tighter welfare for breeders as well. I mean, not just in puppy farms. I mean, generally, I got a dog several years ago who was really sick from a proper breeder, a home breeder. And I know lots of other people who've bought purebred dogs, and they've got congenital illnesses. They've got congenital problems. And because again, I know that it is legislated for, but still, lots of people seem to fall through those loopholes. And even when, for example, the dog that I had hip dysplasia checks, he had a shoulder dysplasia issue, which was never found. Wasn't found for years. So I think there's lots of other issues here, aren't there?
There certainly are. I mean, right throughout the pet breeding industry, not just dogs, throughout the pet breeding industry, there's very low regard for animal welfare. And of course there's also the issue that there are thousands and thousands of dogs in shelters in need of good homes, and really a need to continually breed on these mass scales of dogs into the population when there are dogs that are going to be put down for lack of a good home.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what we'll do next time, is go to a rescue. In fact, several friends of mine are doing that now. So but those were private breeders. You know what I'm saying? And we're a place where, for example, you go and see both the dog and the bitch and see the puppies, and everything seemed to be fine, and it really wasn't.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's very difficult to tell, because even there are also cases where they use a false mother dog to trick people into believing that this is that they're the breeder, when in fact they're actually third-party sellers.
Yeah.
So yes, I'd say absolutely. As you said, it's very difficult to find somebody that you feel comfortable from buying from, and the best thing to do is always to go to a shelter, because there are plenty of dogs out there that need good homes, and the shelter will have done all the checks into the health and everything else around the animal, and so it's better for people and it's better for the dog. So all in all, the best thing is shelter dogs.
Indeed. So look, tell us about your protest anyway, in case anybody from the radio wants to come along down.
Yes, so we're going to be outside Dogs4Us on Saturday, and it's a peaceful protest. Everybody's welcome to come along, and it's Dogs4Us. It's their Leeds branch that we're going to be outside, and we're going to be there giving out leaflets and informing the public about where the dogs come from, and also where they can go to get shelter dogs and so on. So we'll be outside Dogs4Us Leeds from 2:30 till 4, so that's 2:30 till 4 outside Dogs4Us Leeds on Waterloo Way.
And if people want to find out more about your organisation or talk to you about anything, where do they get in touch with you?
They can find us on Facebook, where we have a Facebook group and a Facebook page. Both are Boycott Dogs4Us, or they can visit our website, which is boycottdogs4us.com. That's boycottdogs4us.com.
Well, thank you for talking to me, Aaron. I wish you luck with the protest, and let's hope, over the next, a short time anyway, that we can stop these awful puppy farms, because they're doing terrible damage, aren't they? Thank you very much for talking to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Aaron Matthey, who's the chairman and founder of Boycott Dogs4Us, and he was telling us about a protest that is taking place this Saturday outside the Dogs4Us Leeds store, which is on Waterloo Way, Leeds, LS13 2EF, and it's happening from 2:30 to 4 p.m. It's a peaceful protest, and it's flagging the issue of the fact that this company is the biggest retailer of puppy farm dogs, and they're kept in appalling conditions.